Zazu time trial. Scooby in the ride, yeah. Zazu time trial. Scooby in the ride, yeah. Mystery machine on the line, let's slide.
Roll up in the van, green paint with the flowers. Scooby got the snacks, we've been grinding for hours. Shaggy in the back, yelling zoinks when it's out. Chasing ghosts down like I'm hunting superpowers. Velma got the data, Daphne got the plan. Fred behind the wheel, that's the mystery man. Fog thick, vibe slick, shadow in the sand. But I see that mask slip, yeah, I know the scam. Zazu time trials, ghost laps on repeat. Running from the past, tires humming on the street. If you ain't got a clue, you can roll with the team. Scooby-Doo vibes, mystery dream. Zazu time trials, stopwatch flashing. Solving every case while the wheels keep smashing. Every second count, every mile means something. Ghosts get unmasked when the bassline's thumping. It's a late night vibe, headlights low. Fog creeping in, we don't ever move slow. Zazu on the dash, I'm racing time though. Mystery on the map, I'm unlocking codes. Scoob got the munchies, I got the drive. We don't split up, nah we survive. Haunted mansion scenes, clues come alive. Every rhyme unmasking, who's been telling lies? Tick-tock, stopwatch, I'm ghosting the track. Fred said Flory, no looking back. Zazu glowing like a neon trap. Mr. Gang, forever put it down on the map. Zazu time trials, ghost laps on repeat. Learning from the past, guys coming on the street. If you ain't got a clue, you can roll with the team. Scooby-Doo vibes, mystery dream. From the fog to the finish, we reveal who's who. Zazu got me racing, Scooby got the crew. When the masks come off and the truth shine through, they all say, I'd have got away if not for you.
Zazu time trial. Scooby in the ride, yeah. Zazu time trial. Scooby in the ride, Zazu time trial. Scooby in the ride, Zazu time trial. Scooby in the ride, mystery machine on the line, let's slide.
Roll up in the van, green paint with the flowers. Scooby got the snacks, we've been grinding for hours. Shaggy in the back, yelling zoinks when it's out. Chasing ghosts down like I'm hunting superpowers. Velma got the data, Daphne got the plan. Fred behind the wheel, that's the mystery man. Fog thick, vibe slick, shadow in the sand. But I see that mask slip, yeah, I know the scam. Zazu time trials, ghost laps on repeat. Running from the past, tires humming on the street. If you ain't got a clue, you can roll with the team. Scooby-Doo vibes, mystery dream. Zazu time trials, stopwatch flashing. Solving every case while the wheels keep smashing. Every second count, every mile means something. Ghosts get unmasked when the bassline's thumping. It's a late night vibe, headlights low. Fog creeping in, we don't ever move slow. Zazu on the dash, I'm racing time though. Mystery on the map, I'm unlocking codes. Scoob got the munchies, I got the drive. We don't split up, nah we survive. Haunted mansion scenes, clues come alive. Every rhyme unmasking, who's been telling lies? Tick-tock, stopwatch, I'm ghosting the track. Fred said Flory, no looking back. Zazu glowing like a neon trap. Mr. Gang, forever put it down on the map. Zazu time trials, ghost laps on repeat. Learning from the past, guys coming on the street. If you ain't got a clue, you can roll with the team. Scooby-Doo vibes, mystery dream. From the fog to the finish, we reveal who's who. Zazu got me racing, Scooby got the crew. When the masks come off and the truth shine through, they all say, I'd have got away if not for you.
Yazoo time trial. Scooby in the ride, Yazoo time trial. Scooby in the ride, mystery machine on the line, let's slide.
Roll up in the van, green paint with the flowers. Scooby got the snacks, we've been grinding for hours. Shaggy in the back, yelling zoinks when it's out. Chasing ghosts down like I'm hunting superpowers. Velma got the data, Daphne got the plan. Fred behind the wheel, that's the mystery man. Fog thick, vibe slick, shadow in the sand. But I see that mask slip, yeah, I know the scam. Zazu time trials, ghost laps on repeat. Running from the past, tires humming on the street. If you ain't got a clue, you can roll with the team. Scooby-Doo vibes, mystery dream. Zazu time trials, stopwatch flashing. Solving every case while the wheels keep smashing. Every second count, every mile means something. Ghosts get unmasked when the bassline's thumping. It's a late night vibe, headlights low. Fog creeping in, we don't ever move slow. Zazu on the dash, I'm racing time though. Mystery on the map, I'm unlocking codes. Scoob got the munchies, I got the drive. We don't split up, now we survive. Haunted mansion scenes, clues come alive. Every rhyme unmasking, who's been telling lies? Tick tock, stopwatch, I'm ghosting the track. Fred said Flory, no looking back. Zazu glowing like a neon trap. Mr. Gang, forever put it down on the map. Zazu time trials, ghost laps on repeat. Learning from the past, guys coming on the street. If you ain't got a clue, you can roll with the team. Scooby-Doo vibes, mystery dream. From the fog to the finish, we reveal who's who. Zazu got me racing, Scooby got the crew. When the masks come off and the truth shine through, they all say, I'd have got away if not for you.
Yazoo time trial. Scooby in the ride, Yazoo time trial. Scooby in the ride,
Hello, hello, hello.
What is going on?
Welcome.
YouTube, Instagram,
YouTube, Instagram.
HBO Max, Netflix. I'm kidding.
We're on all the streaming
I'm-
services now. Thank you, everybody.
You know how it is. We're here. As I like to say, hey there, hi there, ho there.
Hello,
How's
hello,
everybody
hello.
doing?
Well,
I was gonna honestly wait and see. I was gonna wait and see how quiet it would get and for how long. I was gonna wait it out.
stare along.
We could just do a full hour of just awkward silence.
Today we're gonna teach you how to awkward silence. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That'd be such a funny stream, like a 24-hour stream of just staring into the camera.
There's a guy who straight up does. He just stares into the camera. That's all he does.
I'm not necessarily surprised that there's just about
There's just
I'm
about
not
everything.
surprised.
There's just about everything.
There's just about everything.
But hello.
Just look on the good old interweb.
Interweb. The interweb, yes.
Interweb. Welcome to the third episode of season 2. This is once again a new, what do I want to call it? A new activity. Season 1, we were doing time trials back to back to back, which was a ton of fun. We have so much content out of that. But on season 2, we're kind of hitting a couple different categories. So this week is going to be time lab. This is definitely going to be leaning towards probably more so beginning producers, but we just want to give insight on what we do when we're making our music. You know, you've seen us over 40 episodes create music in Ableton, so we want to actually provide some education on this is where we experienced producer. Please feel free to chime in on this and give your own tips and tricks. Maybe critique us on the way that we do things. It's all open. I mean, what's the saying? There's 2 ways to skin a cow. something like that.
Absolutely.
I
And
mean,
this type of video game, this music making video game called a digital audio workspace, there's about 10 different ways to do the same thing. So, and everyone has their different lingo, as it were. Everyone calls it something different. Ableton does have like an all around definition of what you're doing, but somebody might call it something different. Everyone learns a different way to speak about something, and that's why music theory can be so difficult, because did you learn this way to talk about it, or did you learn this way to talk about it? 2 ways to skin a cat, 10 ways to skin a cat. Transition.
Back to you, Tom. We were on point there.
Well, I'm
We were on
transitioning. I'm
point.
really doing it. We did it. We're there.
Transition.
We're going to start off in Zaw's digital audio workspace, otherwise known as a DAW. And we have a few samples already bounced for you. And we're just going to kind of show you how we structure our Ableton Live suite. And if you're wanting to follow along, now or in the future, if you have Ableton downloaded, obviously you can follow them because you already have Ableton. But you can go to the link down in the description if you're on YouTube. And I have a link for the Ableton 12 trial. And it's completely free. You won't be able to do everything, but with the stuff that we're starting out with today, you can absolutely follow along. So take those tools and use them if you'd like.
Take it and do it. Zoo, is your internet connection stable? Maybe it's on my end, but I keep getting a little little glitchiness out of that voice. Are you guys experiencing that as well? I just want to double check on the back end if
we're
everything's
excellent right now.
smooth.
It sounds excellent
Okay.
on my side. It looks excellent on my
Cool.
side. Yeah, we're good. Stream
Might
health
be it
is
might be a
excellent.
goofy thing on my end. Might be a goofy thing on my end. That's okay. We're gonna keep moving forward. Sorry to interrupt. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna start with really the fundamentals and basics, kind of square one. So if you're new to Ableton, this is your first time opening it up. This is maybe a good place to start. Yeah, so looks like a Leonosaurus says little laggy. Yeah, vocal behind for the zoo.
Mm-hmm.
We got a little bit of lag. A little bit of lag today.
A little bit of lag. It says excellent on my side. I'll look into this
Very strange.
while you start this off.
Yeah,
Let me look into this.
He'll do some back end stuff. So I went ahead and saved this project because me and Zoo have an idea on how to break this down in a really cool way. So we pre-selected some samples to work with, but what I want to do is I want to open up a new set. So all I did is I went up to File and I clicked New Live Set. Now, for me, this is not what it's going to look like for you. I have created myself a template, and this is going to streamline my productivity as soon as I hop into Ableton. So I think that's part of what we're going to go over today is understanding what you may need during your songwriting process to make it a little bit easier and more efficient for you. So let me go ahead and delete all of this. We will get back to it. I'm going to go ahead and right click to insert an audio track. So if you first open Ableton, I do have a little feedback from your video. There's Zoo, just to let you know. Okay. Everything's fine. So I added an audio track. Your fresh start of Ableton might look just a little bit different. Typically, if it's your first time on Ableton, it's going to give you a pre-writ song as kind of a demo. But once again, if you come up here to File and New Live Set, it'll probably just give you a blank set similar to this. So on the right, you can see I have an audio track. That means that I can drag audio into this lane here. And I'll explain this all in just a second. So there's going to be a difference between audio and MIDI. For right now, I'm going to start with audio, and we will dig in to MIDI. So audio is going to mean any kind of samples. So starting off, I would highly suggest looking into Splice and just finding any kind of free sample packs to give you the most loops and creativity at your fingertips as possible. Ableton will also come with its own preset samples, which is super, super helpful. I'm going to go ahead and just try to describe what an audio track is if it doesn't make sense to anybody. So an audio track means, let me just find something simple and silly here, a little simple silly. So audio means that you can see the waveform. This is audio. This is going to be a flattened version. You can see the waveform and you can see what's going on. This is very, very simple to work with. So that's just a drum loop. If you want to start layering things, once again, you're going to come over here to this blank side of the screen here, insert audio track, and then you can start layering. Before we get any further though, I do want to kind of show you guys what we are looking at on the entire screen. Starting with the top left, I've already taught you and showed you new live set. Here you have a bunch of other options as well. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. We can get into this a little bit further if you guys do have questions or if it's something that you guys want to be covered in the future. But you can export your set, you can open recent sets here, you can save it, and you can export. So that's the main function up there. I'll have Zoo actually get into the preferences. I feel like he would be better at clarifying how to set up your audio and what you're looking for throughout some of these settings. So I'm going to kind of skip past that. But off to the left here, you've got your entire navigation bar. So you can make different collections, which I'm not going to cover that today. You can see here we have categories, sounds, drums, instruments. I mean, there's so many different things, and I really don't want to take too much time to describe this. This isn't a one-on-one tutorial with Ableton. I just want to try to get some of the fundamentals. I think most often I'm going to use this search bar up top here, so I can type in drum, or I can type in kick, or I can type in synth. And then if you go down here to all results, you can just sit here and scroll for days on whatever you typed in and search your entire library based on the word that you typed. So it's really helpful if you're looking for something in specific so that you don't have to go through all these other subfolders to find something. That is extremely helpful. So that's going to be your navigation section where you're going to be able to pull samples, where you're going to be able to pull the plugins that you're using. This is going to be your whole navigation bar, and you can actually click on these borders here and extend them, bring them up and down, and kind of play with it to your liking for whatever you're doing in the moment. I'm going to go ahead and open up this project that me and Zoo have with our samples so that we can kind of make an example track and take it from there. So once again, if I go up to file here, I actually just saved it. So if I go to open recent sets, that's going to be the top set for me called TimeLab. No, I do not want to save my blank project. And here we go. How you doing over there, Zoo?
Oh, we're rocking.
Are you cracking the code? Are you cooking?
Yeah, dude, I cracked the entire code. It's kind of scary. I don't know what to do with it. I figured out the answer to life, and now I'm scared.
I no longer want to see the code.
I don't want to see it anymore.
So, all of this purple here is audio. These are samples that we have taken, and I would describe the process that we took to take them, but ultimately all you need to know is that this is audio, these are samples, and this is what we're going to be working with. Zoo has the same samples on his end. He may have named them and categorized them a little bit differently, but he's going to be kind of tagging along with what I do, and so he should have a duplicate project on his end by the time we're kind of finished. So if we take a look on the right side here, I've got 12 tracks. These are all the purple tracks, and I can extend them with the little drop arrow on the channel itself. I'm going to call this a channel. Channel or track, I should call this is a track. Click the little drop down arrow so we can extend it and see what's going on in there. I'm going to go ahead and do that to all of these. Let's open up. What are we opening up? Somebody say it.
The Paterus.
Yeah, there we go.
It's so ridiculous.
Leo said she can only hear half of what we're all saying.
Half of what we're all saying.
Where did that?
Oh, it says message.
Where did that message just go?
Message redacted.
Are you messing with us?
She's trolling, dude.
Did you redact that?
She redacted.
You redacted it. You pterodactyled.
Redacted it.
So, with all of these sitting in here, I personally want just a little bit more organization. There's just all of these tracks sitting on top of each other. So I can see here that I have the kick. If I click this little S off to the right of the track, I can go ahead and solo that track. So that's the only thing I hear. So that's the kick. We have a snare or a clap. And then we have the top end. So these 3 channels are going to consist of the drums. So if I click on the kick and I hold shift and I click was the top end of the drums, the hi-hats, it should select everything. If I go ahead and right click and scroll down here to group tracks, what this is going to do is it's going to create a group just with those 3 tracks. So you can see here I have group number 2. If I hold Command and R or Control and R on Windows, or you can just right click and rename, I'm going to name this drums because guess what?
They're drums.
It's the drums.
It's the drums. I get it.
It's the drums. If you right click on the drums category, we can set a color for it too. What color do we want for the drums, Zoo?
We want lime green, dude. I want some lime green.
Lime green drums. So that you can see I still have purple tracks inside the green drums. So what we'll want to do there is we'll right click the green drums category. And at the very, very bottom, you'll see assign track color to grouped tracks and clips. Boom! It is all lime green.
Yay.
Isn't that sick?
We did it.
So then what's cool about that is I can go to this drums group, I can solo it, and now I can hear all the drums together. Oh man, this is gonna be woo! Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we have, how do I want to categorize this? So it really depends. It really depends on your workflow. It's all going to be different. It's going to be completely personal to how you want to do things. Let me go ahead and save this project, and I'm going to go back real quick just so I can explain and show you how I personally do things. So if I go to File and open New Live Set, this is what I've made for myself so that every time I open Ableton, this is what I'm presented with, and then I can go ahead and know that everything that I need to start a song is grouped up right here. So I'll go ahead and go through my groups, kind of like you saw with the previous project. Oh, now I don't hear anything. Jathith. Very top group that I have here is my drums. In there, I have kick and snare, I have perks, and I have highs. So I have all these different sections that I've already pre-plotted for myself that I can just start dragging stuff into so it sits in an organized spot. Boom, boom. Awesome. Outside of drums, I have a category or a group called not drums, and this will make sense way later down the line when we get into it. I'll tell you right now, this is where I run my side chain. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other can of worms. In not drums, I have bass. I have sections that I can drag my basses into. I have a section that I can write my sub in. I have a section that I can have all of my synths in, my effects, and my vocals. So I literally have a section already plotted out for every single thing that I could possibly need to start a song. Once again, if I go start a new set and delete all this, do you know how much time it would take for me to create all of those little groups? So it's super, super nice having that sort of template pre-set up for yourself, just for productivity and workflow. So once you figure out maybe that you have a really cool template that you would like to use, let me just add another audio, a MIDI, and an audio. Awesome. This is a great template. I want to go ahead and come up here to File, and I could save live set as a template. Once you've saved the live set as a template, you'll notice down here in your categories on your navigation bar, right here at the very bottom is templates. Now, Ableton has already given you a bunch of templates, but whatever you named your template, it will show up in here. So if I double click Starter, this is my starter template. This is very similar. This is the one I actually ran years ago and I revised it. You can see it's very similar with my bass track, my sub, my synth, and my drums up here. I just ended up revising it because I wanted different workflow. So you can have all these different templates, and even cooler, like you saw with mine, is if you right click the template in here that you like the best, it's right in the middle here. You can set default live set. So anytime that you open up Ableton, this is what you're presented with. I think it's super, super helpful, and I think it's a great note to take the time to understand what may go into writing a track, setting yourself a template, and setting yourself up for success, so that you're not wasting time or losing motivation trying to get all of these sections figured out while you've got this idea in your head. I'll stress it a bunch that I love to get my idea out as quick as possible. That is my goal. If I sit down to write music, I've got an idea in my head. I need to get that idea on Ableton as quick as I can. Nice. You good? Zoo did a noise.
I made a noise.
I would personally encourage people to utilize their resources as much as possible to get the idea that you have in your head on Ableton, on paper, as quick as possible. I think it's worked best for me. If I can get that idea down, it's more motivating for me to have as much as I can written out and then go back to it and refine it here and there and kind of work around. And like I said, this is just going to be different for everybody's style and workflow and experience. So please feel free to ask us questions, feel free to chime in, and feel free to just take the time to look up tutorials, look at what we've released, and find your own little technique. At the bottom of these, let's go ahead and group these up the rest of the way. I think bass, once again, right click, group tracks. Bass is just going to be in a bass category. I know it's just kind of by itself. That's okay. Bass, we're going to make maybe a burgundy. I like burgundy. Reverse, let's go ahead, right click and group that. We'll make that white. In the reverse, we will call an FX, just the effects of the track. Pluck high, flute high, pluck harmony, pluck tonal. So these are, I guess I'd probably still put all of these into a category or a group. I'll color them purple. A dark purple, not the purple that they already are, just a darker purple. And I'm going to go ahead and call that synths / instruments. All right, we have all of our groups. Look how beautiful all that looks now. Everything is grouped out. It's organized. It's in a spot that we all understand. We can find it easily. We can collapse it. That is awesome. So that's been how to create a track, and we'll see you next time. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding. We're not even close to done. So let's go ahead and listen to this entire loop real quick. What an absolute banger.
A banger. Absolutely.
So,
a banger.
What do you think, Zoo? Do you want to drag this out to like an intro into a drop, essentially?
Yeah. Yeah, let's
just kind of space these out a little bit.
Space these out and show them how to kind of navigate the navigation plane, as it were.
So once again, this is going to be the way that I personally do it. This is the way that I've, I guess, interpreted structures of songs. So this is typically my go-to on how I want to start a beginning, how I want to build it up. It's kind of nice having this entire revised section. I think there's all of the elements in here that we need to make an intro that builds up to this. So I think it's important to just emphasize the elements that we have and let them build into each other. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to take this entire section by clicking the very bottom of the end of the track here, clicking and dragging and selecting everything. If I go ahead and do Command D, that's going to duplicate. Alternatively, I can also right click and click duplicate. On Windows, it will be, I believe, Control D. I might butcher that. You probably are familiar with keyboard commands on Windows, at least, whether it's Control or Command. Not entirely sure. I know Zoo can go over that because he's on Windows, but I'm on a Mac. So this is going to be our beginning section just right here. I'm going to go ahead and go into the drums, and I actually want to take out the first half of all of this. So I'm going to take this track section here. You can see it's highlighted in blue now. If you take your cursor and drag it just to the corner, to the edge of it, you'll see this right-angled bar. I'm not sure the actual terminology for that icon, but you'll see this bar that appears. You could then click and drag it in and out to cut off and snip and edit the size of the track. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and take the drums all out of the beginning there. Let's go ahead and go down to the bass, and I'm going to do the same. Effects, I think, are okay, and let's go ahead and let's take the bottom. Where did I cut those at? 9, 1, 2, 3.
Crunch.
4. So the bottom 4 tracks I'm going to delete in the beginning, and then these I want to go ahead and fade in. So this is what we have for right now for what I just deleted.
One, two, one.
Okay. I mean, it's getting there. It's doing things. One really easy and cool thing that I like to do to kind of bleed things in and start a really good intro. What I want to do is I want to take this synth and instrument section, all this purple here. I'm going to take that group. Once again, instead of going to audio effects and then searching through the different audio effects that I want, I never do that. I know exactly what I'm going for. I want an auto filter. Excuse me. My goodness.
My japers.
If I type in auto filter and go to all results, I already know. This will take time for you to understand what different things in Ableton you're going for. I want an auto filter. That's the very top section. Once again, I want to make sure I'm on synths and instruments. I'm going to double click that, and you can notice down here, I now have something new. So this is going to be where all of your plugins, all of your effects are stationed, and where you have access to modify them. I'm not going to get into what an auto filter is very much. I'm not going to get in how to use it. I'm just going to do a very elementary run over of what's happening. This is essentially an EQ. If I play this, it doesn't actually show it like a real EQ. Anyway. So if I drag this knob all the way down and I play it, you don't hear anything. This section down here is everything that is in the low end of this series. If I start bringing it up, you can start to hear a little bit more because I'm bleeding in this middle section of these sounds. And as I increase this and bring this up, you can start to hear more of the sound. So you're essentially taking a filter, an EQ, and you're able to sweep it from the lowest frequencies up to the highest frequencies. I think that's a really cool way to start a song, to kind of introduce new elements into the matrix. So I didn't explain what I just did. That's just a natural thing that I do. And I'm like, wait, they have no idea what I'm doing here. So this is the knob that I was playing with, filter frequency. If I right click that and I say show automation, you're going to see all these red lines and everything looks crazy. It's freaky. I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine. Everything is fine. It's on this group here that I put the auto filter and I asked for the automation. So it's showing me that this is the automation that I can adjust. So I'm going to click here to set a point, and I'm going to click here to set a point, and I'm going to take this first point and I'm going to click and drag, and I'm going to drop it down about halfway. So what is that going to do? If I go ahead and unsolo this and play the track, remember this is without an auto filter right here. And this is going to be with the auto filter and a little bit of automation. Awesome. Now we have a little bit of a gradual rise. I'm going to go ahead and grab that auto filter. I'm going to right click to copy it. I'm going to take it to the effects section and I'm going to right click and paste. Now this reverse has the same effect. I'm going to bring these down just a little bit more. Just because I do it. I'm going to type in reverse. I know exactly what I want. It's going to be this long symbol. This is a song starter. Once again, this is going to go in effects because this is an effect. So I'm going to go to the effects group. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say insert audio track. That's going to give me a new track to place some new audio. I'm going to go ahead and drag over my symbol. I actually just click R to reverse it. You can also right click and go ahead and scroll down to find reverse clip. I'm going to go to this blue bar here. The yellow bar above will turn off and on the track. The blue bar below it will actually drag up and down to change the volume, the decibels. I need to drag this extremely far down. All right. There's so many different things that I could teach right now. I'm gonna quickly throw a reverb on this just for funsies, and I will get into what I'm doing in a later episode because this would just be a lot to unload. Oh, baby, that is a banger. What do we got so far? All right. We're doing really good. We're doing really, really good. All right, so let's just take a quick second to go back over what we've gone over so far. We've learned that you can right-click to insert an audio track. You can do that multiple times. You can go ahead and select everything, right-click and create a group. You can name that group synths. You can recolor that group and then color every track in it. You can go over to your navigation bar on the left and you can type in bass. And then by selecting all results here, you can see everything in your library that involves bass. You can then take this, click it, and drag it over to that new track, any one that you just created, and drag it in there. Clicking this section off to the right of the track with the S will turn it blue to solo that individual track. Let's get something a little bit more fun to listen to. Oh yeah, that's good. That's a good. Yeah, that's a good one. Gosh, that's a good one. You can solo the track.
Gosh, a good one. Good golly.
The yellow bar here, once again, will turn on and off the track. If I turn it off and solo it, you won't. Oh, doesn't work like that. Never mind. It only turns it off there. Good to know. The bar below that will increase or decrease the volume. You can go ahead and select and duplicate. And you just set your tracks right on top of each other as you desire. One thing I didn't really touch on was this top left section where you can change the beats per minute. That's going to be extremely crucial depending on what style and what mood of track you're trying to go for. This is currently at 140 beats per minute. If I drag that down to per se 80, it's going to sound way different. It's going to be much slower. I actually really like that at 110.
He likes it at one tone, folks.
You want to 110 that? Do you feel like 110ing?
We get 110.
You want to 110 that? You want to 110 it? Awesome. Truthfully, I think that's just about the basics of the structure, the fundamentals, the grouping, the templates that you can make to start getting ideas on what you might need to start a track. Like I said, personally, I think you need a drum section, a bass section, effects, synth, and kind of tweak that as much as you can. But those are kind of some of the fundamentals that I personally think it takes to create a track. So I pre-make them, and I already have those sections to go into when I'm ready to write a track. I think with this project being in this stage, it's going to be a good time to turn this over to Zoo. I want him to go over what's going to be the mixing section, or the live section is what maybe you'd call that, Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole other section to Ableton. And personally, I haven't used this much. This is something that Zoo is typically more familiar with. So he's taught me how to use this section a little bit, and I've taught him how to use the other section. So he has just about the exact same project, but he's had it in the other version. I'm going to let him take over and go ahead and talk about his workflow in the live session view.
And I will go over the live session view a little bit. Today, I feel like going over kind of the back end that Za, not that you missed it, just some quick tips and tricks of how to set up your workflow. And let me change the screen so you can actually see what I'm doing here. Where am I?
You guys want to see it?
You guys want to see this? Here it is.
You guys want to see it?
It looks very similar. It looks like you're looking at the same screen, but this is my screen. It's my screen. So,
But it's mine.
but it's mine. So we have very similar workflows, truthfully. But I'm going to go into some of the settings that you might need to understand how you're hearing our voice right now. How to actually set up your different equipment that you might need to use inside of Ableton before you even start doing this. So on a lot of computers you can run Ableton, and it just depends on what the true specifications that you have of your computer. You definitely need better. You need some good RAM in your computer. You need at least a decent CPU, and by good RAM I mean at least 16 gigabytes or more. You can run a computer that has 8 gigabytes of RAM, but if you don't have, if you have like 4 gigabytes of RAM, I don't think that Ableton is going to run very smoothly, or you're going to be very frustrated. And CPU-wise, if you're running a AMD, I'd say the Ryzen 5 or above, and with Intel, I'd say like at least an i7. Otherwise, you're gonna.
On a quick note of that, don't let your software hold you back.
Yeah.
I started making music on like a 15-year-old basic laptop that barely loaded anything at all. It worked. It freaking worked. So do not let the computer hold you back, but I do think it's a good point to know that this does take an extreme amount of processing from your computer.
Absolutely.
So if it's something that you are getting into, it's something to think about.
Absolutely. I mean, I started on making music on a Mac Mini from 2012, and that thing froze every 2 seconds. The thing is, don't let the equipment you have hold you back from trying, but also know that when you do, and if you do get better equipment, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I was actually. You can convince yourself that you're worse at doing something when you don't have the correct equipment. So kind of looking at it from both perspectives. Don't let it hold you back. So try at least, and don't let the fact that you have less than the proper specifications of equipment fool you into believing that you're worse than you are. Because if you have not the right equipment, if I'm putting vocals into a song, sometimes my computer is glitching out as I'm putting the vocals in. And I dealt with that a lot when I first started, and I'm like, man, I just can't sing good. I started convincing myself that I couldn't sing good enough to make it blend with the song, and really my computer was just processing it like dog water. So don't gaslight yourself in either direction, I suppose. So when we're looking at our project here, I have almost the same setup as Za over there. I just don't have some of the samples that he put in there, some of those little wubs that I'll grab from him after we stop recording. But if we're looking up at our settings over here, I'm going to go through these settings just in a little bit more depth. So a little bit of tips and tricks of understanding how your setup might affect what you are putting into your project. We're going to look into options. And in options, there's a lot of things that we could go through, but we're going to go into preferences. I'm going to click on preferences, and it auto opens for me into audio device, sample rate, latency, and test. So when you're typically working inside of a DAW, a digital audio workspace, you're going to be changing the different types of devices you are using, and you need to route them correctly. So right now I'm using a Soundcraft SI Impact. That is an actual 40 channel soundboard, extremely expensive. You do not need this type of soundboard in order to do what we're doing right now. I believe ZA is running a thing called a Focusrite, and it is like a 3-channel, 4-channel input.
It's a 2-channel.
It's a 2-channel input system. I do have a link to that in the description right now. It's like $100. You don't need that to even get started if you have a computer that can process things correctly. What an audio box allows you to do is it allows you to plug in a microphone. It allows you to plug in an instrument physically and play that instrument. So if you are a musician who's trying to get into making stuff in a digital audio workspace, making songs and actually recording them, getting an audio box is like step one. Getting an audio box that is up to date and can handle something in the digital audio workspace. You can choose. I have a few different audio boxes. So I work in Focusrite as well. I work in Behringer, which is an XLR, and I work in Soundcraft. We work in Midas. We work in Allen and Heath. There's a lot of different things that you can actively program to work with your system. But right now I'm working with my Soundcraft, and there's a couple of different ways that you can actually implement recording in. Right now I'm working in an ASIO. We're not going to go into the super specifics of this, but this is the specific processing driver inside of your computer that allows your digital audio workspace to communicate with your audio box. MME DirectX means I am just connecting to my computer's microphone. Like this is just the actual line ins and line outs. This is going to be lower quality from my experience, and it's going to have less processing power. So if I wanted to actively listen from my speaker of my actual computer, which actually ZA does this a lot because he'll just be working from his computer. I don't typically work directly from my computer. I'm sitting at my actual workstation. I have my soundboard. I have all these things because I want to record live. And he's more accustomed to using sample packs and actually manipulating audio that's already recorded. If you're manipulating, like what we're doing today, if we're manipulating audio that's already recorded, this is exactly how you'd want to set up. You don't need an audio box. And what I would do if I want to listen from my headphones or my speakers of my computer, I would literally just click speakers Realtek audio wave or something it's going to say something different for most computers. But you'd click that, and if I wanted to record from the microphone of my computer, I wouldn't recommend it personally because it's going to probably sound a little distorted. I would just click my, let's see what we got here. It would be my microphone array, Intel Smart Sound Technology for Digital Microphones DX. It's going to say something different for everybody.
Moly.
Or microphone array, Intel Smart Wave. And you can record directly from your computer on most computers. I'm going to go back over to ASIO, and with this, I can show my different channel configurations. So with this soundboard, I have 32 different inputs. So I could have 32. This is a soundboard. This is extremely overkill for what we're doing here. But this is a soundboard that you can actively have 32 different instruments recording at the same time. This is something that you'd have for a live show or a big space that you'd have a band recording in, or at least playing through. We probably won't go into specifics about mono and stereo, but quickly, mono is hearing one sound from one channel, and stereo would be if you're hearing something on the right side of your ear and the left side of your ear, and there's different sounds coming from the same instrument. That's what we call stereo. So if I have a keyboard that has effects going on and it's panning from side to side, that's a stereo effect coming from one singular instrument. So if I'm playing through a piano, I would have a left and a right input going into an output. We'll go into more depth, I'm sure, in a later episode, but that is the gist of outputs and inputs and monos and, well, I guess inputs for monos and stereos. We'll go and look at outputs. So right now, I have my specific configuration set up to output on my 31 and 32. So there's 32 outputs on this soundboard as well. So I could have 32 speakers playing music in different ways and different things. It's kind of cool. But again, this is overkill. You'll probably have 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 outputs, and you want to have those highlighted, both in outputs and inputs of what specific input output scenario you have. We might go into specifics with Focusrite just to actually guide you along with those in the future, but for now I think that's probably good enough. You have something called sample rate, and actually before I get into this, as we're talking about this stuff, if you actually download Ableton, what's cool is down here in the left hand corner there's a little arrow here, and if you're confused about what we're talking about, it actually breaks down in more depth. If you just hover your cursor over stuff, it'll actually explain in more depth what we're looking at. So if I'm like, what's a driver type? Choose an audio driver from those available on this computer. Audio device, choose the available devices. And it goes in just a little bit more depth of what it is. Channel configuration. Click to open a window where selected driver individual input and output channels can be enabled or disabled. Kind of cool. It even says to optimize CPU performance, you should disable all channels that you know are not going to use, which is exactly how I have it set up here. I typically use all these randomly. And outputs, I don't really use most of them, so I don't have them illuminated. Our sample rate. Use this setting to set the sampling rate at which live records, generating outputs and outputs of audio. So sample rate can affect certain latencies and bit depth. We're not going to go into a bunch of extreme understanding of that, but sample rate can ultimately affect how something sounds to you. If something sounds distorted, your sample rate might be a bit, it could be high or low. It really depends. You kind of mess around with it according to the audio box or what your computer is capable of. Latency is kind of like that thing. Like if I said, and my voice, the actual audio of my voice, everyone probably knows what latency is, right? Should I assume everyone knows what latency is? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Like
hopefully,
if I clap and you hear it a second later, that's the latency. You can actively affect how little or how big of a latency you hear. Sometimes when I plug in an audio box or a soundboard, it says that there's 124 milliseconds of latency, which is, milliseconds doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're hearing it with your ear, 100 milliseconds is a lot. It's an insane amount. So I could actually bring this down, and I want to zero that out typically if I'm listening back to myself. Cool. And I think that's the only settings I really wanted to dive into and here for today. There's a lot more that
I think that's probably
through.
the most important.
Yeah, these are the settings that are going to actively affect when you're recording into something. So I'll just close out of here. And I think Za went over a few of these, we'll call them hacks, when we're looking at this screen right here. Let me see here. So if we're looking at our screen like we were before, this is what Za was looking into.
Will you show them? I'm sorry, just real quick, explain how you're zooming in and out, because I don't even think I touched on that. So if you're new in the DAW, I don't think you even understand how to zoom in and out like that.
Absolutely. So when you're looking at your cursor, right here, you have your cursor going around the screen, there's this little black bar, and it might be different for everybody. You can zoom out on a lot of different things here, but we're looking at where it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and these are your measures. You could zoom in and out on your measures, so it breaks it down into smaller measure increments. So if I want to see all 4 beats of a measure, because we are in 4/4 time, you can see what time, we could change the time signature that we're in too, which is kind of cool. But for today, we're in 4/4. Music theory, that just means there's 4 beats per 1 measure. 4 divided by 4 equals 1. So we could see our first beat, 1.2 is our second beat, 1.3 is our third beat, 1.4 is our fourth beat. And the way to zoom in, you see this little magnifying glass. When I hover over that black part, we have zoom in. I could zoom in like crazy. I could see the super, super tiny, this is the beats of inside of each beat of a measure. It's kind of crazy when you see the drum. Everything kind of like fragments out when you get super close. Like you don't normally see those when I zoom out. Those are just parts of a wave. You don't even see those little beats.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty insane. You can zoom in like crazy. Because right here is where you could see your 4 beats. You have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you can start seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could see eighths inside of each beat, inside of each measure, which is insane. And then you go even further. You could see eighths inside of each beat of each measure. So sometimes you don't need to be that specific, but you have the capability to do so. What's kind of cool too, you can kind of zero out your view. If I'm super zoomed in and I just want to see everything all at once. This H and W up here, it can zoom out to the height of all of your tracks and show you all tracks height-wise. So I'm going to hit that H, and my screen is kind of zoomed in right now. But now I hit that H, and I can see every track height-wise. If I'm like, I want to see everything width-wise as well, I hit that W, and now I can see everything width-wise. So it's a cool, quick way to zero out. If you're really zoomed in and you're like, I don't even know where I'm at in my project right now. I'll say I'm like super zoomed in on this. I have everything stretched out, and everything is kind of messed up, and I'm like, I just want to see where I'm at. I hit height.
Take me back home.
Take me back home. Height and width. It saves a lot of time instead of being like, I need to zoom out and I need to recorrect everything. No, just hit H and it'll bring you back. So what's cool with Ableton is there's so many different ways to do things and so many different styles of how people want to do things. Again, this is what what he was working in. It's called the arrangement view. And again, if you get confused by the terminology we're using, there's that little box down here. This is called the arrangement view. And down here, this is the session view that I'm about to show you, also referred to as the Ableton Live view. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy this really quick, and I'm going to go over to the live view. And this is the same view, funny enough. If we scroll over, and you have your little scroll bar right here, we're not going to go into hotkeys today because everyone has their different hotkeys, and we might go to what are hotkeys in the future of just, right now I'm holding shift and I'm scrolling, which if that's something that you already know how to do, great, but there's a scroll bar for everything in Ableton. And so if I'm looking at my drums over here, this is the exact same setup. I see drums and there's 3 tracks. If I go back to my arrangement view, we have drums and 3 tracks. We have bass 1 track, FX 2 tracks, and synth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's the same thing. It's just laid out a bit differently. And how we would use this is I would take that sample that we had over here. So those drum tracks, I copied that, right click copy, and go over here. I'm going to right click paste into this first little box up here. And what's kind of cool, I'm actually going to silence all of these really quick. Boop. We're going to go over to here, and we're going to turn this back on. I just wanted to make sure the other ones are silenced so we're not overlaying anything. And if I play this, I honestly thought that was the kick. All right, we're going to grab this. Boop. And we're just going to match up what we have over here. We're going to copy. Boom. And let's see. And actually, we want to bring this over so we're not hearing these at the same time. Boo-da-doo-boo. Cool. And so you can kind of play these in singulars. So I could have my kick. And I can see how long the clip is right here. So it's about 13 seconds longer. So once it gets to the end of this 10 seconds, I'm going to click this next one. And you'll see what it does. We don't have a loop on right now. That's why this didn't work. Thought I put this on before. And this should automatically go on for you guys, fortunately. Let me remember where I'm at. It's already on. I'm just freaking out, man. boop, 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 boop. So if we have all of our tracks in here, you can play them individually. You can stop them with any of these stop buttons down here, or this one all the way at the bottom. Or you could play all three of these inside of this group together. Same thing with our bass. We're going to drag and drop that, or we're going to copy and paste these into the correct ones. We're going to do this with the effects. Boom. We're going to copy both of them at the same time. Save us a little bit of time. Maybe. Okay. That's Ableton 12. I was doing that the other day. Haha. It's still playing. Need to move this over. Boom. And synth instruments. So let's grab these. Copy. We're going to paste. I think I did that wrong.
Copy and paste.
I did it wrong. We're just gonna do it one by one because I'm struggling today. We're struggling today.
Struggle bus.
Struggle busing, dude. So we're just copying and pasting. Copying and pasting. Boop, 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 doop, boop, boop, doop, boop. What's cool with this view too is you can record in, we're not going to go into depth about that today. You can record in while you're actually playing back. You can, especially when you're playing in a live setting, you can live record, you can loop your live recording, you can actively have everything stop, you can play stuff at the same time. It gives you an understanding of what's playing and what sounds cool together at what different times. So you can kind of play things simultaneously. It takes a little bit of finesse because if you play a button and it's off time, it sometimes will just go off time and it'll just start playing it automatically. There's different settings that we can talk about in the future about how to navigate that workflow and making sure that things are syncing up in time. But when you first get in here, it can be kind of difficult and sometimes frustrating. It's just playing with it and having sounds that are in the same beats per minute, having stuff that are in the same key signature. You don't want to be playing something that's in a different key and trip yourself out and saying like, oh, I just don't understand what I'm doing. Sometimes it's just that things are playing in a different beats per measure as well as playing in a different key. So let's just play all of our drums. Did I just somehow copy all the drums? Is this all drums? How? So this is a great example of tripping yourself out and doing the wrong thing. So I'm just going to delete all these because what is happening here? Unless I just accidentally copied and pasted all. I totally just like copied and pasted drums over everything. We're just going to back up. Back up, Control Z. This is the best thing I could teach you is Control Z. All right, we're back. We're back. It's not the same colors, but we're back. Okay, there we go. So let's grab all these. Again, zoom out. We're gonna copy all of these, not delete them, but copy them. We're gonna go back over to FX. And sometimes that's what music making feels like. You are just going back and forth. You're going back and forth. You're like, I just deleted everything. Control Z is my best friend.
You just gotta keep trying.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
You just gotta keep trying.
Just gotta keep doing it. And sometimes it's easy to be like, what did I do? I don't even know how to fix this. Sometimes you just gotta go back. So if we now play all these, hopefully they work. Let's do drums. Go back to the 110 that Zaw was privy to.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can kind of interchange what you're playing. If I wanted to play both of these guys. And you just kind of play around. See what sounds good together. A lot of times when I'm in this view, it gives me a lot of ideas of like, okay, what is the structure that I really want? Sometimes I'm like, let's just start out with the bass. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. So it's fun to just kind of play around. A couple of different things that we did not go over today. You can have a metronome. The best way I could tell you how to use it is just put your cursor somewhere. If you're trying to figure out the beats per minute that you want, beats per measure, you just click play. You just illuminate this little thing right here, and whatever you have selected over here, we have 110 right now, so we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, and there should be 110 beats per minute. I feel like where we're at right now in terms of what we've gone through is probably the best place for us to stop in terms of beginning.
No, I agree. I think this is a good like fundamental episode, and I think next time we can structure out, some of the different little things. Like I added a reverb, and you added this, and I added that. So we'll kind of go into some of the nitty gritty things. I mean, we could sit on stream and talk for days about how we do every little single click that we do. There's a lot that goes into this, and it's a huge learning curve. But I think this is a good session just to kind of cover fundamentals on if you've just opened up Ableton and you want to write some music. These might be some of the best steps to understand where you're looking in Ableton and how to set yourself up for success.
Absolutely. Let me transition really quick. Transition! And I think you guys can still hear us now, so I'm just going to start while this is transitioning through our awesome new screens that we worked on. Thank you for tuning into this monthly Time Lab series. We're still trying to figure out the best way for us to implement this and the most accessible way we can give you this information through time. Za, I think you did a great job of breaking down in depth what people should be looking for in the arrangement view. In terms of the looping view, in terms of the live view that I went through briefly, there's a lot more that we could go into depth with it, but I feel like the arrangement view is kind of where you want to start. Live view is going to be something that we'll probably dive into in extreme detail later. It's not really a view that when you're trying to record in, you're not going to be using it very much. And it's a good place to find ideas, but at the same time, I feel like when you're first focusing on something, the arrangement view is where you want to live. It's where you want to kind of get used to, because it really is like two different workspaces. If you feel more comfortable in the live view, absolutely. It is limited in terms of how much you can manipulate. A lot of the stuff that Alec Za was showing you in terms of the automations when he put that auto filter in there, there's not a lot of things that you can do in live view. You're not gonna be able to do that, those adjustments that you were seeing. So, yeah, I think start an arrangement view. And if you have any questions or any suggestions, I think you should put those down in the comments. If you look at the description, there's a lot of the equipment that we went over today. You can go and purchase those if you want. If you have any questions about that equipment and stuff that you want us to go into in more depth, if you want us to review specific equipment, absolutely. I think that'd be a cool idea. Yeah. Anything?
No, honestly, welcome to the rabbit hole. That's all I have to say.
For real.
Welcome to the rabbit hole.
For real.
I started producing during COVID. So I was able to utilize I don't know if this is good or bad saying this, but I was able to utilize 8 hours a day for a good portion of time to learn Ableton and try things and play around. So uh, it just to say it simply is there is a lot of time that goes into being able to effectively learn this software and utilize it for what it's worth. Me and Zoo both probably don't know at least 20%. At least 20% of Ableton we don't know about. I can
absolutely.
almost assure you that. Um, but I think during these time lapse sessions, I really hope that we can at least bring to you what we have found to be most useful in our day-to-day uses with Ableton to create the music that we make.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely, positively. I
Mm-hmm.
think we need a little.
Time up, done.
Oh my God!
Exactly. Exactly. Great work today, Zaw.
Exactly.
And great work to you at home.
Great
if you
work,
followed
Zoo, too.
along.
No, that was.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. It's like we talked about before the stream. I think we're going to learn a lot from ourselves as we teach and go over the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I think this was a great first run, and I think you did a really great job on at least going over the fundamentals of the live session view. And be sure to catch us next week. This is going to be absolutely huge. We have our final week of season 2 coming to be the Time to Shine episode, where we are going to feature a special guest on the stream to put them up to the Time Trials Challenge. So please stop by next week. This is going to be absolutely sick. We're going to have a guest streamer showing their process and their workflow. I'm extremely excited for this, so be sure to tune in next week for that one.
Absolutely. Very excited for that one. I'm excited to make some music. Honestly, these new ideas, I'm sitting here, I'm like, I really want to make a song today. I really want to make a song today.
We haven't done the Time Trials. We haven't, yeah, no, I feel you.
We got so used to making music every single week that gotta find another time to do it. Gotta find some other time.
Feels a little different now.
Feels a
That is
little
true.
different.
That is true.
Just a little bit.
Well, once again, whether you're listening now or in the future, thank you so much for tuning in to Zazu's Time Lab. And we will catch you next week for Time to Shine. It has been Za.
And Zoo. Later.
Peace.